Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be providing a long-term market analysis update for Atom. We're going to talk about the most recent bounce off the support right around $9, the fact that we're coming up rallying right into the 50-week simple moving average, which has historically been a huge level of support and resistance for Cosmos. We'll talk about the potential for a longer-term higher low, as well as the Atom BTC ratio and the fact that we have been mainly consolidating over the last few months after this big leg up from back here in June of 2022. So if you guys enjoy the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Also, by the way, I will leave a link to my Twitter page in the description below. Feel free to go ahead and check that out as well. I'm fairly active over there with crypto content. So I do want to start off here on the weekly and just mainly recap that we have this big bounce off support right around $9. This was the level that was the high from back here in 2020. We rejected off this right here in August. And then from that point, Atom actually corrected by about 58% over the next 4 weeks, not finding support until retesting that 50-week moving average. And we also saw this act as support in the summer of 2021. That was the range that we held on this triple retest, triple bottom. And we also saw that act as support on the most recent correction back down in December. So it is nice to see that we are bouncing off support, and this does set up the potential for a longer term higher low, and we could draw some sort of uptrend with these lows, mainly being the case that we're no longer in this very dominant downtrend and we're actually having that structure of demand rising, demand coming at higher valuations than the previous lows. So that all being said, we are rallying right up into resistance at the 50-week simple moving average. And over the history for Atom, this has been a very critical level, especially for the longer term direction. Basically, when Atom is above this level, it has been acting as strong support. We can look back to the 2020-2021 bull run, where it basically held this every step of the way up until that breakdown that we saw right here in April. And then we haven't really had a retest since. It's sloped back downwards, and we have basically been very far below this. And this is the first real time we're getting a close enough move where we might see that retest. So given how historically this has been strong support in a bull run, we could expect it could be a pretty important level to watch out for in, say, a bear market. Now, I don't necessarily think that we have to have continued the bear market and that we have much further down to go. In fact, I do have the stance that we have formed some sort of longer term cycle low and that the majority of cryptocurrencies have already bottomed. But I still think this is going to be a fairly strong level of resistance until proven otherwise. So if we were to have a retest, it would not surprise me in the least to see some sort of initial rejection. And that doesn't necessarily have to be a bearish thing. And one of the more bullish scenarios, if we get that rejection, is just say consolidating and really just cooling off the rally, giving the market time to form a little bit more of a base and some accumulation before eventually starting to get that breakout. And that could look something like this, where maybe we do have, say, a breakout later on in 2023, and we have a lot more accumulation before that happens. And I do think eventually when we do break back above the moving average, we're going to see that same scenario where it does become support, similar to how we saw this back here in 2020. We had the break above it, and then we flipped it right into support and basically rode it all the way up to new all-time highs. So we could see a similar scenario just given the historical context. And I would say that whenever Cosmos does eventually break back above the 50-week average, whether that is on an impulse move in the next week or in several months out from here, whenever we do reclaim this moving average, that will be a huge sign for the longer term direction. And that would be the first major bullish sign playing out on the macro trend, just given how we still have the underhanging threat of basically flipping this into resistance and then rejecting off of it to come back and retest some of these lower valuations. So watch out and pay attention to that level into the next few months. Again, if we can reclaim this and have it start to slope back upwards, that would be the same pattern that we saw back here in June of 2020 with the reclaim, the retest as support, and then the formation of new all-time highs several months later. So lastly, I do want to talk about Cosmos' performance against Bitcoin. And really, this has just been consolidating over the last few months. You could draw some sort of channel where we've been trending down in with the lower highs and the lower lows. But ultimately, I just think this is a way of cooling off this major rally that we saw off the June lows. And I think it is well expected, just given the fact that we saw Cosmos rally about 250% with respect to Bitcoin in about 13 weeks. So that was a fairly heated move, and we're just seeing that natural retracement before potentially another leg up. And if we were to say break out of this channel, then I would start to look out for the range highs all the way up around this valuation of 100,000 Satoshis. And that was the same level that we rejected at back here in April of 2019, as well as September 21 and January of 22. But until then, we're basically just consolidating and cooling off this big rally, and I would expect a continuation of this pattern until we have enough of a base to work from where we could see that next leg up. So I hope you guys did enjoy the content and the analysis. By the way, make sure to check out my Twitter page. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.